In the wise words of Epictetus, the key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. This foundational Stoic principle guides us as we explore the 10 types of individuals that the Stoics, profound teachers of virtue and rational living, caution us to avoid. Stoicism does not merely seek to transform the individual, but also to navigate the complex web of human relationships wisely. Why should we be wary of the company we keep? Can we identify traits that may hinder our personal growth and peace of mind? These are crucial questions for anyone striving to live a Stoic life, marked not only by personal contentment, but also by effective and harmonious interactions. Join us as we delve into the characteristics of the greedy, the vicious, the flatterer, and others on this list. Understanding these personalities can help us foster healthier relationships and cultivate a life of true wisdom and emotional resilience. Types. People. Number 1. The greedy. Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. In the wisdom of Stoicism, we are warned about the detrimental impact of greed on one's life and on society. Greed, an insatiable thirst for more, traps individuals in a perpetual cycle of dissatisfaction. Those consumed by greed often find themselves ensnared in a paradox. The more they acquire, the more elusive their happiness becomes. This is because true contentment doesn't spring from wealth or possessions. It blooms from gratitude and the appreciation of what one already possesses. The relentless pursuit of wealth leads not only to personal turmoil, but also to the exploitation of others. Greedy individuals, blinded by their desires, may resort to using others as mere steps on their ladder to success. Such actions corrode the very fabric of human relationships, leaving in their wake a trail of broken bonds and trust. It's a stark reminder that the cost of greed often extends beyond the individual, spreading like a contagion through families, friendships, and communities. Moreover, the single-minded focus on accumulating wealth often means neglecting the most valuable aspects of life: health, relationships, and personal growth. Stoicism teaches us that our well-being and moral integrity are paramount, far outweighing the fleeting pleasures of material gains. When individuals prioritize their wealth over their health or their loved ones, they sacrifice the essence of what it means to live a fulfilled and meaningful life. Is the pursuit of wealth worth the price of our relationships, health, and integrity? Stoicism invites us to reflect on our values and consider the richness of a life lived with simplicity, purpose, and regard for others. It challenges us to find joy not in the abundance of possessions, but in the depth of our connections, the resilience of our character, and the tranquility of a mind at peace with itself. As we navigate life's path, let us heed the Stoic warning against greed, and remember that the greatest wealth lies in our ability to live harmoniously with ourselves and others. May we strive to cultivate contentment, kindness, and a generous spirit, for in these virtues lies the true treasure of a life well lived. Types. People. Number 2. The vicious. We are taught to be wary of the vicious, individuals whose actions are guided not by the moral compass that directs a well-considered life, but by a cruel and heartless disposition. The vicious revel in the suffering of others, finding perverse satisfaction in the anguish they precipitate. This breed of malevolence is not only dangerous, but profoundly destructive to the social and moral fabric that binds human relationships. What exactly defines a vicious person? At their core, these individuals are devoid of empathy and completely detached from the principles of justice and virtue that Stoics hold dear. They are the antithesis of what Marcus Aurelius championed in his Meditations, where he urged the cultivation of a soul inclined towards justice, patience, and understanding. To the vicious, the pain of others is not a deterrent, but a motive that drives their hurtful actions. Why must we avoid the vicious? Simply put, their presence is a contagion that threatens to undermine our own character and virtue. Their flagrant disregard for law and decency poses not just a theoretical threat, but a palpable one. Vicious people do not consider the repercussions of their actions, which makes them unpredictable and exceedingly dangerous. They maneuver through life with a Machiavellian ethos, adhering to no law but that which advances their selfish desires. Consider the danger in their volatility. Vicious individuals may lash out with physical violence or deploy emotional manipulation as a tool to dominate and coerce. Such behavior can lead to severe emotional and physical scars, complicating the lives of those around them with chaos and fear. Furthermore, their corrupt influence can permeate through a community or circle, sowing discord and prompting others to forsake their moral principles under the guise of self-interest. How can one safeguard against the corrupting influence of the vicious? It begins with recognition. Recognize the signs: a propensity for cruelty, a pattern of lawless behavior, a blatant disregard for the feelings of others. Stoics advise us to cultivate discernment, to observe not just actions, but the intentions behind them. As Seneca wrote, "A gift consists not in what is done or given, but in the intention of the giver or doer." Thus, assessing the moral intentions of individuals we allow into our lives is crucial. In essence, to entertain the company of the vicious is to dance with potential destruction. Their presence is anathema to the tranquility and virtue that Stoicism seeks to cultivate. The wise will heed this warning by fostering relationships founded on mutual respect, empathy, and integrity, qualities antithetical to the vicious, ensuring they remain at the periphery of one's life, unable to inflict their harmful tendencies. Remember, as Epictetus succinctly put it, the key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. Avoiding the vicious not only protects us from immediate harm, but also shields our virtues from erosion. It is a necessary step for those striving to live a contented and meaningful life, aligned with the Stoic pursuit of wisdom and moral rectitude. Are you prepared to examine your circle and repel the influences that threaten your peace? This is not merely an exercise in avoidance, but an active engagement in crafting a life surrounded by those who uplift and inspire. Types. People. Number 3. The flatter. In the landscape of human interactions, flatterers emerge as a unique challenge, wielding words as tools to weave illusions of grandeur around their targets. Stoicism, with its rich heritage of wisdom and virtue, alerts us to the subtle perils that flatterers pose to our personal growth and integrity. These individuals, driven by desires for personal gain, be it wealth, status, or power, master the art of manipulation, often with honeyed words and exaggerated praises that resonate with our deepest yearnings for recognition and acceptance. Flatterers operate by inflating our egos, skillfully navigating the seas of our vanity and pride. They offer a mirror that reflects not our true selves, but an embellished, often unrecognizable version. While their praises might temporarily elevate our spirits, they invariably lead us to a distorted sense of self-worth, disconnecting us from our authentic selves. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once warned, "If you wish to be loved by anyone, you must not desire to be loved by all." This poignant advice underscores the value of genuine connections over superficial admiration. One of the more insidious effects of constant flattery is its ability to undermine our capacity for self-reflection. When we're continuously told of our greatness, the necessity to scrutinize our actions, to recognize our faults and to strive for improvement diminishes. This halt in personal growth is antithetical to Stoic philosophy, which advocates for continual self-examination and the pursuit of virtue. Marcus Aurelius, a proponent of Stoic thought, mused, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." In this context, it implies that rising above the influence of flatterers and maintaining our integrity is a testament to our strength. Flatterers, in their quest to bind us closer to them, often endeavor to isolate us from those who offer honest, constructive criticism, our true allies in personal development. This isolation not only deprives us of valuable perspectives, but also erodes the foundation of authentic relationships, leaving us in a vacuum of insincerity. Seneca the Younger elegantly stated, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." As Stoicism teaches us, embracing a life of authenticity, grounded in virtue and self-awareness, is paramount. Let us strive to distinguish genuine admiration from flattery, to cherish those relationships that challenge us to grow, and to cultivate a sense of self-worth, not reliant on external validation. May we remember that true growth lies in recognizing our imperfections and working diligently to transcend them, guided by the wisdom of Stoicism to forge meaningful connections based on sincerity and mutual respect. In doing so, we not only safeguard ourselves against the manipulations of flatterers, but also pave the way for a life of true fulfillment and virtue. It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. Types, people number 4, the selfish. In the reflective practice of Stoicism, a philosophy that cherishes virtue and community, the character of the selfish person stands in stark contrast. Selfish individuals prioritize their own needs and desires above all else, disregarding the well-being and rights of others. This self-centered attitude not only isolates them, but also acts as a poison within their relationships, whether personal, professional, or casual. Selfish people see the world through a lens that magnifies their own interests and minimizes or completely ignores the needs of others. They are typically indifferent to the suffering their actions may cause, provided they achieve their desired outcomes. This lack of empathy and unwillingness to consider the perspectives of others is antithetical to Stoic principles, which promote the virtues of justice, courage, wisdom, and temperance. Frequently, those who are selfish will resort to manipulation, deception, or outright exploitation to get what they want. Whether it's lying to make a mistake or cheating to gain an advantage, their moral compass is skewed by self-interest. They may steal opportunities from others without remorse, hoard resources they don't need, or refuse to share, all in the spirit of gaining more for themselves. In relationships, selfish people can be particularly harmful. They often view relationships as transactions, where the primary goal is to extract maximum value for themselves. This could mean neglecting their partner's emotional needs or prioritizing their comfort at the expense of others. A Stoic would argue that this violates the principle of justice, which demands fair treatment and giving each individual their due. The presence of selfish individuals in one's life can lead to significant emotional distress and conflict. Their inability to prioritize anything over their interests can lead to a toxic environment, whether at home, work, or in social settings. For those striving to live a Stoic life, such relationships are antithetical to the pursuit of virtue and the common good. How might we better understand the needs of others to avoid the pitfalls of selfishness? What can the selfish learn from Stoicism about the joy found in helping others? Seneca's insight on selfishness. Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness. But the selfish, who look only to their own benefit, are blind to the opportunities before them. They forsake the greater good for petty gains. Avoiding selfish people is not just about protecting oneself from harm, it is also about nurturing a community where virtues flourish. In the Stoic view, the well-being of the community contributes to the well-being of the individual. Thus, distancing oneself from those who are fundamentally selfish is a step toward building a more virtuous and supportive community. Types. People number 5. The envious. In the teachings of Stoicism, we are cautioned against allowing ourselves to be overtaken by envy, a vice that quietly corrodes the soul. Envious individuals are marked by their constant comparison to others, a habit that stems from their perceptions of inadequacy and a misguided valuation of external goods over internal virtues. Envious people look at the achievements and happiness of others and see a mirror that reflects their own shortcomings. Instead of feeling inspired, they feel diminished by the success of others, which often leads to resentment. This resentment is not passive. It manifests in malicious behaviors such as gossiping, rumor spreading, and even outright sabotage. Stoicism teaches us that such actions not only harm the ones toward whom they are directed, but also the one who harbors and acts on these envious feelings. The envious person is trapped in a cycle of desire and dissatisfaction. No matter what they acquire or achieve, it is never enough, as their eyes are always fixed on what others possess. This constant dissatisfaction erodes their ability to appreciate their own blessings and capabilities, leading to a life filled with bitterness and a lack of fulfillment. Envy can be extraordinarily destructive in relationships. It breeds conflict and mistrust, which can break the strongest of bonds, whether familial, platonic, or romantic. An envious friend or partner is often seen as unsupportive or even hostile, conditions under which no healthy relationship can flourish. Stoicism encourages us to turn our focus inward and to measure our success by our own standards and virtues, not by comparison to others. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, once stated, "It is impossible to begin to learn that which one thinks one already knows." By this, he means that personal growth is stifled by envy, as it convinces us that external achievements define our worth. Instead, we should aim to cultivate contentment and personal excellence, freeing ourselves from the chains of envy. How might recognizing the abundance in your own life change your perception of others' successes? Can you recall a moment when envy clouded your judgment or actions? How did you overcome it? Stoicism doesn't just warn against the dangers of envy, it offers a profound way to combat it through the cultivation of gratitude and a focus on personal virtue over external possessions. Seneca's insight: envy is a declaration of inferiority. Are you ready to break free from the vicious cycle of envy and embrace a life marked by serenity and fulfillment? Types. People number 6. The stubborn. In the contemplative practice of Stoicism, the archetype of the stubborn individual serves as a cautionary example of the peril of inflexibility. Stubborn people are characterized by their deep resistance to change and their unwavering attachment to personal beliefs and opinions, often to the detriment of personal and communal harmony. Stubborn individuals often display a significant reluctance to adapt to new circumstances or to reconsider their viewpoints, even when presented with compelling evidence to the contrary. This obstinance can manifest as a refusal to engage in meaningful dialogue or consider alternative perspectives, driven by a desire to be right rather than a pursuit of truth. Such individuals are not just closed-minded, they are actively closing doors to potential wisdom and growth. The consequences of stubbornness are manifold and predominantly negative. In personal relationships, this trait can lead to severe tensions and conflicts, as stubborn individuals struggle to compromise or find common ground. Professionally, Their resistance to new ideas and methods can hinder innovation and efficiency, effectively causing missed opportunities for themselves and their teams. One of the most tragic aspects of stubbornness is the myriad opportunities it squanders. By refusing to try new approaches or venture out of their comfort zones, stubborn people often miss out on valuable experiences that could lead to significant personal or professional growth. Their rigidity can render them obsolete as they persist with outdated methods or ideas that fail to resonate in a continually evolving world. Stoicism teaches the value of adaptability and open-mindedness through the wisdom of its philosophers. Marcus Aurelius, a model Stoic, emphasized the importance of being open to change and correction, noting, "If someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change, for I seek the truth, by which no one was ever truly harmed." This perspective is crucial. It highlights that truth and understanding should be the ultimate goals, not the clinging to one's preconceived notions. How might your life improve if you were more open to other perspectives? Can you recall a time when being flexible or adaptable led to a positive outcome? While steadfastness can be a virtue in certain contexts, when it morphs into stubbornness, it becomes a significant barrier to personal and intellectual development. Stoicism doesn't just discourage such rigidity, it offers a philosophical blueprint on how to overcome it through humility, openness to new ideas, and the wiser discernment that being correct is not the apex of human experience, but being virtuous is. Let us, therefore, strive not to be unyieldingly anchored to our views, but to be ever willing to adjust them in the face of new, compelling evidence. This, the Stoics argue, is the path not only to true wisdom, but also to peace. Types people. Number 7. The arrogant. In Stoic philosophy, which extols the virtues of wisdom and humility, the arrogant emerge as stark warnings against the perils of an inflated ego. The arrogant are those who harbor an exaggerated sense of their own importance, often projecting superiority over others. This misguided self-perception is not only a barrier to personal growth, but also a seed that can sow discord in various aspects of life. Arrogant individuals often dismiss the opinions and experiences of others, viewing their perspectives and potential contributions as inferior. This dismissal is not merely a passive trait, but an active disregard that can alienate colleagues, friends, and loved ones. Furthermore, arrogant people are generally marked by a significant resistance to feedback. They tend to reject or ignore criticism that might otherwise spur personal improvement. One of the critical downfalls of arrogance is its tendency to foster learning resistance. Arrogant individuals often believe they have nothing new to learn, whether from experiences, individuals, or more formal educational opportunities. This self-imposed stasis not only curtails their intellectual and emotional growth, but also makes them less adaptable to change, be it in a professional setting or personal life. In relationships, arrogance is a destructive force. It creates a barrier of distance and mistrust between individuals, as it is difficult for others to feel valued or heard in the shadow of such a towering ego. The arrogant may exploit their perceived superiority, mistreating others and justifying their actions by their misguided beliefs in their greater worth. This behavior not only damages interpersonal relationships, but also can lead to professional misconduct and abuse of power. To counter arrogance, Stoicism promotes a life of ongoing self-reflection and moderation. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Whenever you are about to find fault with someone, ask yourself the following question: what fault of mine most nearly resembles the one I am about to criticize?" This introspective practice encourages recognition of one's limitations and fosters humility. How can embracing humility enhance your personal and professional relationships? Can you identify a time when arrogance led to a missed opportunity or relationship strain? A Stoic's conclusion on arrogance. Arrogance isolates. Humility binds. In our interactions, whether they be personal, social, or professional, embracing Stoic principles such as humility, open-mindedness, and empathy can transform potential conflicts into opportunities for growth and connection. Stoicism does not merely warn against the vices of arrogance, but provides a practical framework for cultivating a fulfilling and virtuous life. By shedding the heavy cloak of ego, we open ourselves to truly profound connections with others and a deeper understanding of the world around us. In doing so, we not only enrich our lives, but also contribute to the well-being of our communities. Thus, let us strive to replace arrogance with humility, and in doing so, pursue a life of true value and meaning. Are you ready to relinquish the burdens of arrogance and embrace the liberating lightness of humility? Types people. Number 8. The cynical. The figure of the cynical person is treated with particular caution, as cynicism can severely distort one's perception of the world. Cynics often harbor a deep-seated distrust towards others' motives, frequently assuming the worst in people without sufficient evidence. This skepticism isn't just a shield, but rather a barrier that isolates them from deeper, meaningful interactions. Cynical individuals typically view the world and its inhabitants with suspicion and negativity, anticipating deceit and hidden agendas in even the most ordinary situations. This relentless negativity can be exhausting to those around them, creating an atmosphere of gloom that stifles collaboration and open communication. Cynics often struggle to engage positively in relationships or community efforts, preferring instead to criticize from the sidelines. This detachment not only impedes their personal and social growth, but also alienates others. The impacts of cynicism are far-reaching, particularly in personal and professional relationships. It fosters a climate of mistrust and distance, making it challenging for others to feel respected and valued. Overly cynical people may reject opportunities for partnership and cooperation because they preemptively judge others' intentions as self-serving or malicious. By focusing predominantly on potential threats and negatives, cynical individuals often overlook or undervalue the possibilities for positive outcomes. This pessimism can cause them to miss out on opportunities for learning, growth, and genuine connection, which are vital for personal development and happiness. Their aversion to risk, driven by distrust, prevents them from experiencing life fully and joyfully. Stoicism teaches the importance of a balanced perspective that advocates neither naive optimism nor excessive cynicism. The philosophy encourages discernment, seeing things as they are, including the good and the bad, without bias. Marcus Aurelius, a staunch Stoic, believed that our reactions to our circumstances are more defining than the circumstances themselves. He stated, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." How might your life change if you lowered your guard and opened yourself up to trusting others more? What positive experiences have you missed due to a cynical outlook? To navigate away from cynicism, Stoicism suggests practicing empathy and giving people the benefit of the doubt. This does not mean abandoning caution, but tempering it with a fair assessment of people's actions and intentions. Adopting a more hopeful and constructive outlook can enhance interpersonal relationships and improve one's overall well-being. While caution can be wise, excessive cynicism only leads to isolation and missed opportunities. By applying Stoic principles of balance, empathy, and open-mindedness, one can avoid the pitfalls of cynicism and embrace a more fulfilling and optimistic way of life. Let us ask ourselves, are we viewing the world through a lens of fear and suspicion, or are we open to the myriad possibilities that await us? In the words of Seneca, the first step towards amendment is the recognition of error. Recognizing and adjusting our cynical tendencies can lead to profound personal growth and richer, more positive life experiences. Types people number 9. The manipulative. We are urged to be wary of those who manipulate, individuals who master the art of deception to bend others to their will. Manipulative people are adept in the dark arts of psychological influence, employing tactics such as lying, withholding information, and emotional blackmail to control and coerce others. Manipulators have a keen eye for vulnerability, exploiting others' weaknesses to gain advantages or maintain control. This exploitation is often not blatant. It is insidious, cloaked in the guise of friendship or guidance, making it all the more dangerous. They lack empathy, a crucial human trait that fosters mutual understanding and respect. Without it, manipulators coldly calculate their moves without regard to the emotional devastation they leave behind. The impact of manipulation on relationships is profoundly negative. It sows distrust and engenders resentment. Those on the receiving end of manipulation often feel betrayed and violated, as manipulators cross personal boundaries without hesitation. The psychological toll is heavy, marked by a persistent sense of insecurity and confusion, which can severely affect one's mental health and well-being. Stoicism provides a robust defense against manipulative behaviors. It teaches the practice of self-awareness, understanding our emotions and the motivations behind them, which is vital in recognizing and countering manipulative tactics. Moreover, Stoics advocate for the development of personal virtues such as wisdom and justice, which fortify the character against the wiles of the manipulative. How can you strengthen your discernment to detect manipulation in your relationships? What Stoic principles can you apply to preserve your integrity in the face of deceit? Marcus Aurelius once advised, "Reject your sense of injury, and the injury itself disappears." This profound insight suggests that the perception of harm fuels our grievances. By adopting a Stoic mindset, we can see beyond the immediate pain of manipulation and focus on cultivating our inner resilience, thereby nullifying the manipulator's power over us. In essence, Stoicism does not merely caution against the manipulative, it equips us with the tools to protect our moral and emotional well-being. By fostering virtues like wisdom, courage, and justice, we shield ourselves from the corrosive effects of manipulative behaviors and maintain our commitment to living a principled life. Are you prepared to cultivate these virtues and build a life of integrity, free from the influence of the manipulative? Embrace Stoic wisdom and embark on a journey towards emotional freedom and moral clarity. Types people number 10. The reckless. Reckless individuals are highlighted as cautionary figures whose actions represent a profound disregard for consequences. Such individuals often engage in impulsive, risky behaviors that not only endanger themselves, but also pose significant risks to others around them. This lack of prudence and foresight can lead to chaos and upheaval, disrupting their lives and the lives of others. Reckless people typically act without thoughtful consideration of potential outcomes. Their decisions are driven by impulse rather than reflection, leading to a series of mistakes and poor choices that compound over time. This impulsivity stems from a lack of foresight, the inability to anticipate and prepare for future consequences. Instead of planning ahead, they are swept away by the thrill of the moment, which often results in detrimental, if not disastrous, results. The ramifications of recklessness are not isolated to the reckless individuals alone. Their actions can have a widespread impact. By neglecting the safety and well-being of others, they not only jeopardize relationships, but also their reputations within their communities. The chaos and instability that follow their actions reflect a life marked by volatility and unpredictability, which can be incredibly stressful and overwhelming for everyone involved. Stoicism, with its emphasis on wisdom and virtue, teaches the importance of foresight and self-control as antidotes to recklessness. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic himself, underscored the value of thoughtful action when he stated, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This Stoic principle highlights the need for internal reflection before external action, urging individuals to consider the long-term effects of their actions rather than yielding to momentary impulses. How might your life change if you were to think twice before acting on impulse? What can you do today to cultivate the foresight that is missing in reckless behavior? The Stoic path offers not just criticism of recklessness, but a practical guide on cultivating discipline and prudence. By embracing Stoic wisdom, individuals learn to temper their impulses with thoughtful deliberation, leading to more stable and harmonious lives. This transformation requires recognizing the triggers of reckless behavior and addressing them with mindfulness and care. Are you ready to replace impulsivity with insight and carelessness with consideration? Embrace the Stoic way and chart a course toward a more thoughtful and considered life. As we reflect upon the 10 types of individuals Stoicism advises us to avoid, let us prioritize the cultivation of our inner tranquility and moral integrity. From the greedy and the envious to the reckless and the manipulative, each of these personalities harbors traits that can disturb our peace and divert us from our path to virtue. Stoicism doesn't merely warn us against these characters. It invites us to foster the opposite virtues within ourselves: generosity, empathy, deliberation, and honesty. Assess your relationships, identify influences that might lead you astray, and cultivate connections that uplift and inspire. Share this message with those who seek a peaceful, happy, and humane life, and apply these insights to nurture a community of virtue. Let us not just avoid the detrimental but pursue the good actively. Like, share, and apply these Stoic teachings to carve a path toward a profound and harmonious existence.